So a few months ago, I started working out of a co-working space at WeWork in Chinatown, and I saw...
That's where I work.
And I saw Erika there.
And I offered him chocolate. And he said no. What man denies chocolate from a girl who is trying to offer some? This one. That's the answer to the question.
It was a total faux pas, and it just so happened that I don't happen to like chocolate, and I was very in depth in my data analysis on that day.
Data analysis.
And so when Erika asked me if I like chocolate, I took it very honestly, and I said, no, thank you.
I was like, this guy doesn't want to chat with me. No big deal.
No, but we made great friends afterwards.
Correct.
And shared many funny stories.
Exactly. Speaking of funny stories, did you think of any yet?
I'm still working on my funny story of the day.
We always start the show with a funny dating story, and I guess I'm going to have to grace everyone with a funny dating story again. So I may or may not have mentioned this one a few weeks ago, but I'm going to elaborate on it now because my guest here did not come with a story. But it's my fault because I didn't ask him to prepare one in advance. So, have you ever had a situation where you had to leave a date early because it was so bad?
No.
Anyone? Has anyone? Hey, guys back there, have you ever had to leave a date early? It was so bad?
No.
I did.
That's crucial.
Yeah, it's bad. So what could possibly go wrong on a date that you have to leave? Okay, so I guess my first mistake was meeting this person on Tinder, I actually had a whole episode on Tinder maybe 3 months ago. But if you're not sure what it is, it's a dating app where you essentially swipe left, swipe right. Right means you like someone's picture, left means you don't. If you and the other person both swipe right, you get connected and you can text and then set up a date. The good and bad thing about Tinder is it's based on your GPS location. So if somebody is in your area for a business trip, for a vacation, for whatever it is, they'll come up in your search area as a potential match, and you don't know that they don't actually live there. So I ended up matching with someone who seemed nice, seemed good looking, and in a quote conversation, because it was over text, he told me that he lives in San Francisco but was in D.C. for a week for a conference. And I'm thinking, all right, I'm open-minded. I love meeting new people. I love San Francisco anyway. I'll probably be out there at some point. Why not? But because he was only here for a week, and Dimitri, as you know, I schedule weeks in advance.
She does.
I do. I was like, there's not really a good time I can meet you this week because it's very last minute and I already have plans. But I can meet you later in the evening. I think it was a Thursday night after my dinner plans. And he agreed to that. He didn't know the city, so I suggested a bar that was pretty close to my apartment just to make it convenient. All is good, right? Mm-hmm. So we had planned to meet, I think it was at 10:30. What else is relevant to know about me? I'm a night owl.
You're a night owl, and you're always punctual, I was going to say.
I'm always punctual? Really?
Yeah.
Is that a joke?
No, from my experience.
Okay. I didn't know I was punctual. Good. So I'm a night owl. So 10:30 to me is not very late. Now, I know to some people that's like late. But anyway, my dinner was running long, and the check just wasn't coming in a reasonable amount of time. And so I reached out to the 10:30 date. I texted him with plenty of time in advance, about an hour before we were supposed to meet, when I realized that dinner was going to take longer than I thought, and I pushed our date back half an hour to 11. He was on West Coast time, so he didn't care. It was 8 o'clock to him. So all is good. We meet at 11. Okay, I actually got there first. I guess I am punctual sometimes. And he walked in, and he looks at me, and he had asked me what my job was before we met, which, I have mixed feelings about because I'm a dating coach, right? Yet I try as hard as I can to separate my personal life from my professional life because it's very easy for them to mix, given that dating is a topic everyone likes to talk about. But when I go on a date, I'm on a date. And when I'm coaching a client, I'm coaching a client. this was a date. I walk in, and he goes, I don't know if he was trying to be funny. He goes, "You are the worst dating coach ever."
What did you do?
And I'm like, excuse me? I think he was mad at me for pushing the date back half an hour. I gave him ample notice. I mean, what's wrong with you? Okay, fine. I'm thinking maybe this guy thinks it's like, when you push a kid in the sandbox.
Did you say it as a joke, or?
I think he thought he was being funny. But
you said it in a sarcastic voice, or was he just total stone-faced about it?
Stone-faced. And before I know, I don't get sarcasm very well anyway. Especially if that's the first thing you're going to say to me. I don't know your sense of humor, and that's really mean. So I'm like, okay, Erika, calm down. Give this guy the benefit of the doubt. Turns out we're the only two people in the bar, right?
Oh, no.
You've been there with me, Silo, where we had that Scotch drink.
Yeah.
So he's like, I can't believe you picked a place that has no one here. And I'm like, how was I supposed to know there would be no one? It's a Thursday night. Like, people should be out.
People go
I don't know.
on Thursdays.
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, apparently not to this bar. No big deal. Who cares? We could hear each other. That should be good. So anyway, we
have great bacon whiskey.
No, they got rid of that drink.
Oh.
Ugh, it's called the Scotch Striptease with a slice of bacon in it. It was so good.
Oh, it was delicious.
Oh, so delicious. Anyway, so I order a drink that was similar to that because they didn't have it. He orders his drink, and he goes, "Oh, guess what? It's on me," which we're going to talk about on today's episode, but I'm thinking it should be on you. Okay. Anyway, so then the bartender starts talking to us because he's bored because there's nobody else at the bar. I'm friendly. I'll talk to anyone. So he asks where the guy is from, and he says San Francisco. And then the bartender is like, he's like bowing down to my date. He's like, "Oh, San Francisco, you can do no wrong." And I'm thinking, what's wrong with you people? Okay, but I'm still like trying hard. And then the date starts making fun of my accent. I mean, occasionally I do have a New Jersey.
I don't know. You don't have much of an accent.
I don't have as much as you. Right.
Listen, from someone who lived in New York for 6 years, you don't have much of a New Jersey accent.
So he's making fun of me. He's like, and, like how I say and I'm like.
You say it regularly.
Yeah, I'm like, that's not very nice. It's not even and then he tries to make fun of me again to the bartender, and he says to the bartender, "You're not going to believe what this girl does for a living," as if it's some big joke, right? I'm probably more successful than he is, right? So at that point, he tells the bartender, and they start laughing at me. And that's it. I was there for 15 minutes, and I said, "You know what? I don't need this." And then I go, "Thanks for the drink." And then I said, "No." And I opened up my wallet, threw $10 down, and said, "Thanks," and walked out. And that was that. I went food shopping that night instead. And he had the gall to text me after and say, "But I wasn't done asking you questions." So that, my friends, is this week's dating story.